In September 2005, the ground in northeast Ethiopia shattered into 1,000 pieces over the course of a few days amid a flurry of volcanic eruptions and a large number of earthquakes. In the Afar Depression, a desolate spit of desert where summer temperatures can soar as high as 120 degrees, a bubble of molten rock had been bubbling beneath the earth for millions of years. The ground was split in two, and a fissure about 40 miles long and up to 25 feet broad was created when it finally reached the surface. According to Cynthia Ebinger, a geologist at Tulane University, we had never seen something like this. On the seafloor, this kind of activity is common, but this is the first instance on land that is known of. The Dabbahu Fissure, as the rift that erupted in 2005 came to be known, is not the first geological event to shake the Afar, an isolated area dotted with geysers, gas vents, hot springs, volcanoes, and one of the few lava lakes in the world. The Arabian, Nubian, and Somali plates are cradled in a Y-shape by the Afar Triple Junction, a hotspot for Earth scientists. These plates are spreading apart at a rate similar to how fast your fingernail grows, and activities beneath them are producing the intense heat and energy that are responsible for the distinctive geophysical features the area is known for. Today, the Dabbahu Fissure is the most prominent of those features. It is presently believed by scientists that the first continental fracture since Pangea will take place along this rift, and that in a few million years or so, Africa may span into two continents, allowing the Earth to introduce its newest ocean. What exactly is the East African Rift System? The North-Southeast African Rift System, or EARS, one of the world's greatest geological wonders, is actually a network of rifts and valleys brought on by the splitting of the Earth's crust. The Eastern Rift Valley, which stretches from Jordan to the coast of Mozambique, is one of the two branches of EARS, which has been in the making for roughly 25 million years. Meanwhile, the Western Rift Valley, which spans from Uganda to Mozambique, is home to some of the world's deepest lakes. However, the Afar Depression, which has the highest rates of magma production and the most active volcanoes in the area, is the most dramatic of all the terrain that is shifting inside EARS. Under the depression, a mantle plume of magma had grown over time, forcing hot rocks toward the surface like globs of oil in a lava lamp. Magma eventually began to push up into the fissures between those rocks as a result of intense pressure, causing Dabbahu Fissure to rupture in 2005. According to Ebinger, the pressure was so intense that the plates separated by as much as 25 feet, accomplishing 400 years of separation in a matter of days. One of the experts who was using satellite data to estimate the new rift was certain that his calculations had gone wrong because it was such a large figure. What causes rifting to occur? The lithosphere will stretch and thin when it is subjected to a horizontal extensional force. It will eventually break, creating a valley known as a rift. Volcanism and seismic activity are surface manifestations of this process that can be seen along the Rift Valley. If successful, rifts, which are the first step of a continental breakup, can result in the formation of a new ocean basin. The South Atlantic Ocean, which formed when South America and Africa split apart some 138 million years ago, is an example of a location on Earth where this has occurred. Have you ever noticed how their coastlines fit together like parts of a puzzle? Observing the creation of an ocean. After the 2005 incident, Ebinger was in Ethiopia working with scientists from all around the world to quickly deploy geophysical instruments. Within weeks of the disaster, Ebinger was on a plane. The scientists noted right away that the amount of magma beneath the surface was causing the plates that support the area to move much more quickly than they typically do. 13 other episodes comparable to the 2005 rifting, but less severe, occurred throughout the course of the next 5 years, according to Ebinger. The plates are moving again at their regular speed as of right now. Ebinger thinks that there will be more of these dramatic occurrences in the future, possibly one every 50 or 100 years. The Afar Depression will sink farther and further as the land separates, a process known as seafloor spreading. The Afar Depression could sink below sea level and be flooded by water if we skip ahead about 500,000 years. The continent may or may not be totally divided in half by the new sea. As you travel south, the rates of separation decline, according to Ebinger. So it might just be a wedge of seawater moving in. There is still a potential that the East African rift will not succeed, given the fact that not all continental rifts result in oceans. Contrary to popular geological belief, which maintains that all the splitting action should be taking place at the rift itself, scientists have discovered areas of molten rock and straining in the Earth's crust miles beyond the fissure. The Mid-Continental Rift, MCR, a 1,800-mile seam in the shape of a rainbow that split open more than 1 billion years ago, may follow the example of the Dabbahu Fissure. More than 240,000 cubic miles of volcanic rock were created over the course of 30 million years by the rift, which stretched from central Kansas to modern-day Detroit, before it strangely and abruptly ceased growing. The MRC is still the deepest rift that has been found that hasn't turned into an ocean, though there are several ideas as to why. The Dabbahu Fissure might imitate it in the future. Time, and lots of it, will be the only variable. However, what if this happens? The rift in the African tectonic plate may provide a shoreline to 6 landlocked nations. This implies that landlocked nations like Malawi, Zambia, Rwanda, Uganda, Burundi, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and Malawi might unintentionally discover themselves with a coastline and, as a result, create harbors that immediately connect them to the rest of the globe. There is a very little portion of Atlantic coastline in the DRC, however it is not exploited. There would be 2 territories each for Kenya, Tanzania, and Ethiopia. The smaller portion of the Nubian plate that includes Somalia, Eritrea, Djibouti, the eastern regions of Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, and Mozambique where the valley ends may drift away when it splits, but the larger Nubian plate will create a coastline for the various nations in eastern and southern Africa that have historically relied on their neighbors for access to sea transport. For their sea freight and transportation, the DRC, Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi have typically depended on the ports of Mombasa in Kenya's Indian Ocean and Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. The countries would have to spend millions of dollars on evacuation if a new shoreline appeared in their backyard. However, it would also have enormous benefits, including a decrease in the cost of international logistics and the emergence of hitherto undeveloped industries like fishing and shipping. It also means that the nations can now be directly connected to subsea internet cables, presuming that technology hasn't been rendered obsolete by time, and that nation-states would still exist in their current form millions of years from now. And that ends today's episode. Are you prepared for possible future supercontinent configuration, or also known as Pangea Proxima? Share your thoughts in the comment box below. Please subscribe to Weather Collapse if you want to know more, and be updated on the latest news about natural calamities or disasters happening all over the world, and don't forget to like today's video. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.